All right, why don't we get going? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you. My name is Palo Pierce. I am the Vice President at Eduporium. And I want to apologize up front. We made some mistakes with the invite process in regards to the time of this show. So we had, it was supposed to start at 3:30, which it is, but we had sent out email reminders indicating 3, and that was because we were doing a practice session. So I'm sorry about that. Anyways, I wanted to introduce, and sorry for your indulgence here, Andreas Hoel. Andreas is with Strawbees. He is the US manager. And basically, Andreas today is going to give us a quick overview of Strawbees and also talk about a little bit how you could leverage it for social emotional learning. So one of the things we wanted to talk a little bit, just to kind of give a paid political advertisement about Eduporium. Eduporium, our focus is only on education, and our focus is only on STEM educational technology. We work with makerspace, K-12 classrooms, libraries, colleges, and after-school programs. And the best way to work with us is to work with us a little bit and tell us your vision, either by email or by giving us a call and kind of telling us a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish. And we work with a wide variety of solutions, covering the gamut of coding solutions with robots, drones, 3D printers, virtual reality headsets, science kits, esports, and much more. We do provide an educational discount depending on the manufacturer, and we do share that with you. And for those who may have some different types of requirements, we also are a certified minority business enterprise, which is good to know. Our email is sales@eduporium.com, or you can give us a toll-free number, and our team will get back to you and work with you. You can see just some examples. You know, we're going to talk today about Strawbees, just some of the other things we carry: robots, 3D printers, and then in the middle is a kit we put together where we can customize it for educators. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Andreas. And nice. Andreas, you're ready to go.
Yeah, thank you so much. So before I show in the slides that I have, I'd just like to talk a little bit about Strawbees in general. So Strawbees is, this webinar is going to be how to engage more students into STEAM and social emotional learning. But generally, Strawbees is a hands-on STEAM tool that is meant for K-8 students to explore and learn how construction, building, mechanical movements, such as this stuff here, and coding are interacting with each other. Typical questions or activities that you're going to do is building parkage garage and count how many cars are going through this parking garage entrance. And these are, you know, the students are going to build this parking garage entrance in this example. And Strawbees started out from a Kickstarter campaign that went well in 2014 by Erik Torstensson, who is the inventor of Strawbees. He graduated as a mechanical engineer with a focus on sustainability, and he wanted to bring affordable maker tools into the classroom by using the plastic cutoff from industrial production. So he actually created these little things here, the Strawbees connectors first. So he created this, and they were meant to be used with drinking straws and cardboard, as an example. But today we have a complete STEAM product lineup and coding solutions to schools with curriculum-aligned lessons. So let me just share my. Yeah, so short about me. I'm a manager at the US and Europe. I've been working here now for 2 years, and I absolutely love it. So many things that are happening in the office, the creativity that is flowing. Right now, I'm actually in Gothenburg and living in Gothenburg in Sweden, where we also have our headquarters, basically. So let's start with how to engage more students into STEAM. And I'm going to talk about these 3 things or highlight them. And that is making sure that we have enough material for every student, that we use tools that build creativity and learning confidence, and the importance of speed. So let's take the first one, making sure that we have enough material for every student. And what I mean with this is that we don't want to limit the experience for the students by having too little material for each one. So imagine if you're super thrilled to get started with solving a problem, for example, constructing and coding a robot, and you have this idea in your head on how you're going to approach the situation, but you need to wait for someone else to finish their idea first. Or imagine that you are in this process of creating and you have entered your flow stage where you're so into what you are doing and asking questions for yourself like, what is happening if I do this? Or what happens if I turn that? And you need to let that go because someone else is waiting for you to finish. And another aspect to think about this is that we all have different approaches to solve problems. Some of us, they just jump into it and start testing immediately. Others, they take their time and they go slowly forward. And students that jump into testing can take up a lot of the room and the material around them without really thinking about the ones that need time to adjust. So therefore, having enough material for all the students in the classroom is essential to meet all the students' needs. The second thing here is that we use tools that build creativity and learning confidence. And what I mean with this is that confidence is something that we learn. We learn it by testing and repeating, and it helps us build creativity. If I would start playing tennis, I would get better at it the more I test or practice. And this will give me more confidence, and I can start to be more creative in my game. And the lack of confidence often comes from the mindset that you can fail. And even if we embrace failure and have this, learn from your mistakes attitude, the students do not always think the same. It's a process to learn confidence, and it takes time. So how can we help the students to learn confidence so that they can build creativity? We give them the tools that enable them to do more than just complete assignments, typically student-driven learning. So for example, a car where the goal is to code it to move forward or in a certain path is very limited to the user to explore more. And questions like, what happens if I do this? Or if I turn that we want the students to ask themselves will be much harder if we don't have the right student tools. And student-driven learning often comes after having completed an assignment, and the student can explore by themselves or in groups on how to improve their own project. So to make student-driven learning happen in a school environment that really, lack the ingredients of time, you need to have a tool that you can do fast prototyping with. A tool that lets the students check the boxes in the curriculum, but move past that and explore by themselves. We also need to have in mind that students, they are different, they learn differently, they have different interests, so therefore we need a tool that can be different. And some, they want to be like crane, others a bridge, mechanical arm, or a blinking star, or a baby robot, as an example. I will play it one more time so you see it. I love this little guy.
Andreas, what's just a quick question came up. What's powering that? And just
that is a quirk, but it's our own little device for coding. However, right now we are developing that one to be more improved. So a new version will come up later.
Okay.
But not this year, sadly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So why should we learn? No, sorry, I need to go back to the last thing here. Sorry, the speed. So the third thing here is about speed and the importance of speed. So speed is important to have in mind when to engage students in STEAM. And we all know that time is not something that we have an overflow of in the schools, and time spent looking for the right part instead of the next solution that takes energy, enthusiasm, and learning from the students. And you don't want really to go around and looking for specific parts, that takes time, and look in the instructions book on what piece that will come next. You want the student to test for themselves and see if their solution will work. And hopefully it will not the first time. So that can learn from this experience. And we have seen that time from the thinking process to start prototyping has a great impact on how students dare to test new ideas and dare expose themselves to failure. They dare to make mistakes because thought to prototyping is so narrow, so it's easy to just give it a try again. And let me go back here. Yeah. So why learn with Strawbees, really? So what we really want to do is that we want to give every child the opportunity to become inventors so that they can solve future problems. How we are doing this is by creating teacher-friendly STEAM and coding lessons and providing high student engagement for grades K-8. This is our mission, more or less. So what do we really mean by teacher-friendly? That is that we want to give them, the teachers, an easy and friendly introduction to building and coding as possible. We want to help the teachers as much as possible so they can do what they are best at, educating. And we know that learning and teaching programming has been so frustrating for a lot of teachers, and they have spent a lot of time teaching themselves in their free time. And what we want to do is to help them out as much as possible. And we're doing this by creating curriculum-aligned lessons that can easily be modified and can be transferred to Google Classroom, as an example. And we always think about how we can improve the experience for the teachers, because we know that this will affect their students in the end. So a recent example that we have done is that we have upgraded our STEAM School Kit. It's our most popular product, with a built-in storage solution. So it's much easier to distribute and organize back into classroom, and this giving more learning time to the student and less time cleaning. And the other thing that we are focusing on is then high student engagement. So teacher and then now the students. And we want to focus on to have the tool that creates high student engagement, because we know that this leads to high learning outcomes. So how do we manage to create high or student engagement? First, obviously, they have really fun when they are building coding with Strawbees. They have fun because they can build really big constructions. So as an example here, a small Sierpinski, and then you can do the math, what is happening for the blue ones. And then you can do it so much bigger. And this is because the system itself is very lightweighted. They can also do very fast prototyping. They can be creative, and they can use their own solutions or try out their own solutions. And often what we say, or that I say, is that in a classroom of 30 students that are using Strawbees to solve one problem, we'll end up with 30 unique solutions. The other thing here is we have very few unique pieces, meaning that you can build very simple to advanced constructions. So when the students have finished their assignments, they can start to explore really more. And like, how are we working with social emotional learning? So social emotional learning, you can boil down this to 5 categories. It's self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and responsible decision-making. And you learn these skills by being exposed to emotional situations from your environment, from friends, family, and from your surroundings, and by using a collaborative hands-on tool that allows you to do fast prototyping easily. You're putting the students in these emotional situations in the classroom. They will become very glad because they managed to build a high tower together, and then they become very sad when this tower is going to collapse, if it does, because then they're going to learn what went wrong here, but get all of this feeling in one room. And they start to discuss a new approach from this building, as an example, They are listening to each other. They are observing a classmate's idea of improvement. And from these experience, they will develop, social emotional skills. I actually would like to show you some live demonstrations before I go over here. So let's see if I can probably pin myself, like that. So I think that I am visible for everyone right now. The first thing I would like to show you is how you can use Microbit together with Strawbees. So Microbit is this coding device. They come from UK, basically. It's collaboration with Microsoft and BBC. And what I have in front of me here is a crane. This is a typical activity that you can do on our learning platform or Strawbees Classroom. So I'll turn this on like that. I also have a second Microbit here that I have built a sleeve for myself and attach it to my arm. And as you can see, when I move my arm up, the cranes will go up. So this is typically an engineering art where you can explore how coding is interacting with the things that you are building. So the students are going to build this crane by themselves, and then they're going to code it. And I have, as this is like typical what one students can do, but what will happen if they start to collaborate with each other and explore different ideas on what to build. So I take the Microbit that I had on this crane and I move it over to a bigger crane that I have over here. Like that. I turn the Microbit on here. I turn a second Microbit on down here. And really what you are going to see, this is a much bigger crane. The same code, so I haven't switched the code here. And here I can move this crane with the same code. I can also, I designed it so I can move it sideways as well. So this is, this is high level things that you can do, but this is still, you can do these things. And I'm going to switch back to the videos that I'd like to present. Is there any questions? I can answer any questions right now if it's anything that's popping up. Then I will do like this. 1 second. And here is actually one of the first workshops that I had in Sweden. It was so fun. The goal here was that the students, they are going to build a robot, and instead of doing some race that is typically is happening, that they are competing with each other, it was they are building a robot that is going to move forward or anything. And then they're going to explain what the purpose for this robot is, or the story behind it. And one student built a really good one. This is quite impressive because I showed this to the guys in the office and they're like, how did they manage to make the head so it's bumping in the same speed and everything? So it's like they were super happy to see this. They haven't built the one that looks like this before. So it was really fun to see it. And the other video I like to show you here is embracing the failure culture. So we actually built an airplane that we would like to try out. And this is the first result. And then lastly, we managed to learn from our experience. And this is yeah, this is a dancing robot. Sadly, you don't see it. It's being controlled with microbits that are like the sleeves that I showed you in both of their hands. And Eric Torstens on the inventory came up with everything. He actually, you know, making this dance and moving this way by his arms.
Hey, Andreas, just a quick question that did come up on like the dancing robot and stuff like that. Is there a place at Strawbees where you would go to find more information on how to do this or stuff like that?
And perfect that you mentioned that, because I have the next thing that I'm going to show is actually the place for the teachers and the students to explore. Let's see here. Yeah, I think you can see my screen. Okay, good. So this is Strawbees Classroom. So Strawbees Classroom is really the bones of Strawbees when it comes to take it into the classroom, because we know the time is very limited for the teachers. Therefore, they need to have everything curriculum aligned. Here we have activities and lessons. So if I can take a lesson as an example here, I go to lessons. And the crane, the small crane that I showed you, and we are constantly updating this. So right now we are waiting for 20 new lessons to be uploaded next week, I think. So I think the crane here. So here, the teacher will have a different view from the student. So the teacher will have a lot of backstory about crane automation and typical questions that you can start to ask the students before going to building part. So it's a whole lesson. And we can see what different curriculum that are aligned to. So this is the NGSS, and we can see the different here. We also have the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, you know, duration, age range, you know, the student journal that you can download. You can have a pre-lesson. You can assign things to the students. You can share. You can even build this by yourself. And I can just walk you through it a little bit, but it's shortly in what materials that you need, facilities. So when it's this little blue hat down here or on the side, that is what teachers will see. And then you come to like preparation, warm up. So teacher knows that only teacher will see. Imagine, create, and also the building section, the place where the students and the teacher are actually doing, like they are having this step-by-step guides on how to build it, and then they can explore by themselves. So as a teacher, you really have everything that's needed to start building and having a complete lesson for yourself with the students.
Hey, Andreas, two questions. One is this is a great resource, and definitely I would agree with you that, you know, anything they make lives easier for teachers is great. I notice it's free now. Is there a cost later on, or how does that work?
So it's going to be included in your purchases. So yeah, definitely included in your purchases, because we see this as something that comes along with you. So
when you say it's included in the purchases, is it included with every product or the classroom kits or what?
Yeah, so that's the future. Right now we're on this development stage of it. So when we come to that certain point, it's, you know, obviously going to include when you're purchasing the kit. So we don't see it as, you know, you're buying a box of Strawbees products. It's more like, you know, we are here and helping the students. And how do we help the students with this? Obviously, then we need to help the teacher so they get started. So we really want to build that teacher confidence. So
for now, it's free until you guys further down the road, right?
Yeah, it's further down the road.
Hey, one other last question I have, just clarifying for me. When you had the material thing on that robot.
The big robot, yeah?
No, the little one, the one where you were going through the classroom, you know, the activity.
This
the one you had it online in the classroom software.
This one here, this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly. When you click on that, and then when you went into the material that's required,
Yep.
just so I understand, how do those pieces fit together?
Yeah, so the materials here. So this is a lesson that is that you can do if you have these material down, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have a STEAM school kit. It's a big box for us. You can have a STEAM starter for smaller groups, like for one student.
Yep.
And then you need to have a microbit, of course, if you want to build it and code it with microbits. And then you need to have our microbit add-on, and I have a picture so I can just make it a little bit clearer on what's the requirements that you need. So I need to do this. So this is there we go. Yeah, so this is an image, what's really required. And I can give you more information. So if you get an email afterwards, I can send out what's detailed, more detailed information. But basically, when it comes to building with Strawbees, you need the STEAM school kit in the classroom. And when it comes to coding using Microbit in the school, you need to have the construction system, which is in this STEAM school kit that you see on the right side. And you need to have 20 robotic inventions, and you need to have 20 microbits. And this is what you get from that bundle, as you can see. So it's like us showing you what you need to have to for 30 students to start building and exploring with Strawbees.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just sometimes, I think another question just came up because I confused myself, I think. On the Strawbees Classroom, today it is free, right? For any particular Strawbees customer. Mm-hmm. You have no short-term plans of charging. It's not, you're not just saying that may happen in the future, or what is the answer when someone asks, is there going to be a charge in the future?
Yeah, so in the future, it really depends on how, because I can't really answer it right now, but it's not going to look as it does currently in the future, but it will be like included in the kits, like in your purchase of Strawbees, more or less. Okay. Yeah, so really don't see it as it's not a product themselves. It's more about how we can help. We really want to be there and help the teachers to, so they get started, because then they come to the students afterwards.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this is, it was actually my last slide here, and I don't really know what the time is. It's, yeah, half an hour. Yeah, so it's on the time. And we have a little bit for questions that's popping up, but I think that is there any more questions that is popping up on the chat?
Right now, let me, here comes one. Can you share some information about how they built the turntable for the large crane?
Yeah, exactly. So it was like this. We have built the crane, the big crane by ourselves. So it's, typical instructions that you will also find on Strawbees Classroom on how to build this part. So you can do the movement that goes up and down. On the here, you need to be a little bit more creative on how to manage it to move sideways. But let's see if I see the platform here. So we have added a microbit down here that is controlling a servo motor. And let's see if I can turn it on. So if I turn this, I am actually, by turning this arm, I'm actually pushing the servo motor. It's probably hard for you guys to see, but I'm pushing a servo motor down here.
Yeah. And
beneath it, like what is making it to turn, we used a lot of like this. So now the crane is going away. Ah! And this was really fun to try out how many balls did we need to have in this down here to make it move? Because if we had too many, it would like break and not
So
work at all.
basically the turntables on top of those balls.
Yeah. So
That is very creative.
yeah, so that's really fun to try it. So it was a really fun experiment when we tried out different solution and we ended up with this.
Now, using that crane as an example, that's something that you wouldn't be able to do out of a student's STEAM starter kit. You'd probably need a classroom kit.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So the STEAM starter kit is actually it's really good to explore a little bit about how the system itself works by yourself. But it not really works. One STEAM starter in the classroom is not going to do it. So you want to have this STEAM school kit at least in the classroom, obviously, because then you can build with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keep going. Anything else on that, or?
No, it's we are actually going to launch something that I'm looking forward very much on Strawbees Classroom, and that is space exploration. And what we are, we are right now in the process of what is going to be part of this space exploration. So this is, I guess, show you, and this is something that you can actually build with the STEAM starter. We don't have the instructions yet, but it's a Mars lander. So it's a typical Mars lander that is going to look like the what's the name of the one that landed on Mars now? Now I forget about the name. If anyone knows, please write it in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can throw this down and then you can make it fly, and then it's going to land on its legs down here and have a really good impact. And what we also have done is that we have connected a microbit to this one as well. And you can really, why we did that is because then this is a little bit higher level when it comes to coding, but you can calculate how fast it's going down, the gravity movement, perseverance. Thank you, Perseverance rover. Yeah, that one. So then you can what is happening now when this is falling down and so on. So you can be very creative.
Question came up about, can you show us a School of Ridiculous Inventions channel? Yeah, so
I can do it like this. I think it's the easiest way is to find it on Strawbees Classroom now. So just I do like this. I share and need to move you. So you go to webinars. I think we placed them. And where did we place that? Didn't place it. Yeah, here it is. A School of Ridiculous Invention. So I love this. It's videos with Eric Torstensson doing high-level stuff that you can do with Strawbees. Once he built a submarine. Look at that one; it's really fun. Microbit instruments. I can see which one that I would like. Yeah, I can. Yeah, look for yourself. But here is a dancing robot, the one that I showed you before. So you can actually see him building it. So he's talking about so basically he walks through and talking about the invention process from his part, like, okay, I want to do this, and he breaks down the creativity thinking, and then he's showing what the end result is going to be. But this is really fun to see.
Yeah. Now, just so I get
check it out by yourself.
Yeah, but just so I get confused, this is in that Strawbees Classroom piece? Is that where it is?
Yeah. So you go to Strawbees Classroom, and then you can go. So in Strawbees Classroom, I can take it shortly. You have activities that take you straight into the building parts. Then you have lessons that takes you to a complete lesson for the teachers to have in the classroom with building, obviously. And then you can go to webinars to explore a little bit different about webinars. And in here, you can find out about the School of Ridiculous Invention. And in here, you have all of this. And he's uploading quite often. It's very fun to follow. So you do that.
Cool. And just another question I have, and just if there's any other questions out there, how do the connectors connect together? Just, is it just
yeah, so it's it's actually, let me see if I can take I stop sharing.
Yeah.
So this Sierpinski pyramid, I can take it apart, but if I take it apart like this, I actually end up with the pieces that I have.
Yep.
And what you simply are doing is that you take the connector, you put it in like that, and now it's actually sticks there. It's that easy. So like that, perfect. And if you want to do like these mechanical movements, so I have one connector, one leg connector, a 3-leg connector, what we call them. You actually push it in halfway, so to say, into the other connector, and then you can make it spin.
Got it.
And if you want to have it stable, you can push it all the way in, and now it doesn't move at all.
Oh, wow.
So it's really simple mechanics behind it to make something very, very big and more advanced.
Cool. And then just at a high level, can you just do a quick review of the products you're shipping today? Because I did notice you have some Microbit packages too, correct?
Yes. So I can, the things that are the most important, I would say, especially in this webinar, it's actually these two. So these two kits here are, different solution are the ones that what you need to have in classroom. So typically for an, let's say, elementary, so elementary schools are really focused on the building.
Yep.
If you are in the 5th grade, 4th grade, you can do coding, but to make it easier. So then you can focus on the building parts. For the middle schools, you're often looking at building and coding. So this is what you need then. So why they come in different packages like this is because some they already have Strawbees currently in the classroom, and they only need to add Microbit and our extension. And others, they already have a Microbit, so what they need to have is Strawbees constructor system and our extension to the Microbit. So we really want to make it easy for the ones that already have different parts. So
cool.
These two are the ones that recommending.
Great, excellent. So a reminder, anybody else have any other questions for Andreas?
I'm looking at the perseverance. Yeah, thank you so much that you come up with that one. Yeah. I really forgot that name.
So just a reminder to everybody, I apologize once again for the confusion on the time. We are going to send out in a couple days a copy of the recording, complete recording from the beginning. We'll also send out any of the links that Andreas has mentioned, just so everybody has it, and so it's all in one different place. You'll see that. You'll definitely all get an email whether you attended or you were unable to make it today. So we will be sending that out. 2 questions just came up. I think you just saw. Can you share where we can find the SEL sources?
Yeah, definitely. It's actually 2 different sources. So yeah, I can send it in the chat, or I can send it to you, Paul, and then you send it to everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll send it to you now.
Good. And then someone was asking about, you mentioned that you'd be updating the QuirkBot. Can you say anything more about that?
Yeah, so the QuirkBot is we are looking at a way to upgrade it so it's much more advanced than it is right now. To be honest, it's really it's absolutely the best coding device. However, it's competing with the Microbit, so we really want to do it a little bit more high level. It's under development, and right now with shipping and things like that in the world, we are late next year is probably an estimation. It can easily be also beginning of 2023.
Okay, so it'll be a little while.
Yeah, that is sad. That is really sad. But
all right, so we're gonna forward out some things on the SEL resources. And a question came up with the coding. Can it really scale up to the K through 8th, or really 4th through 8th or 5th through 8th? Where what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so coding, it really depends on how do you define coding from the beginning. But what we are focusing is from the 4th grade up to 8th grade. So that is what we are focusing on. However, we know that college students are using Strawbees to just talk about simple constructions and simple mechanics behind, really showing something, in what will happen if you do it like this. So, but we in-house, we don't develop anything like any instructions for that groups. So that's why we say K8.
Yeah, and I think Eduporium's perspective, I just see some other feedback from some of the educators attending, as you adopt and engage the microbit into the solution, right? That is definitely something in that middle, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And we see a lot of people using that. And this is a welcome augmentation to the microbit, right? So if people have bought the microbit to get going, now you can build actually structural things with it. So so that's kind of good to know. So just kind of looking at some other people saying that question came up, and I'm not an expert on this, something about, will it still use flow programming?
Yeah, so that is, they are referring to QuirkBot. So
okay,
in QuirkBot, you typically talking about block coding or text program. That is basically what you're talking about this stage when it comes to getting started with coding. However, what is often more common in developing games and stuff like that, you are talking about flow coding. I don't want to go into the particular details about it, but yes, the QuirkBot will definitely have flow coding in the future, as it has right now.
Got it. Great. Thank you. So it looks like a lot of interest in your QuirkBot. Quick question. If I had a class of 30, how many kits would you need for that?
So let's say that you're going with, so I think like this. So if you are only interested in building, so, I can show the shark again. So if you want to build, be creative like this, then you need 1 STEAM school kit for 30 students. If you want to look into the coding with Microbit in this case, then you really need to have 2 of the robotic invention for Microbit 10 packs. So total of 20, and that is our Microbit extension. And on that, you also need to have 20 microbits. So if you're already having microbits, the only thing that you need to do is to purchase the STEAM School Kit and 2 boxes of the robotic inventions for the Microbit 10 pack.
Got it. So the reality, if you want just building, you get the STEAM Classroom Kit.
Yes.
And then if you want the robotics, you need to buy the robotic extensions. And then also have the microbits or purchase them separately. Cool. Got it. Any other questions out there?
I saw that there was a question, or not a question, but Microbit coding can even expand to high schools via text-based coding, and that is absolutely true. And we are going to focus on that later on. Right now, it's making sure that the K8 group is having everything on Strawbees Classroom. But definitely, you can be 90 years old and use Strawbees with Microbit. And even for the high schools, it's good when you go over to the text coding. And it's Microbit is really good at that, actually, to introduce you to text coding, because you can transfer your block coding, which is the blocks, you probably know about it, into text coding. And then they are using Python and JavaScript. And Python is the thing that people are talking about.
Exactly. Great. Any other questions out there?
It's so fun that you guys are asking so many questions.
Any update about?
Yeah, so yeah, that is live now. So Strawbees Classroom live. That's one of the things that I showed before. So yeah, that is we are updating new lessons each week. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much.
Okay. I think we'll just bring this to a wrap. If there's any other questions, I do have one thing to share while they're doing that. Let me just pull this up quickly. And So just a reminder, I think, is that showing up there? So one of the things we're pleased with Andreas's cooperation that we are going to have a raffle today for those people who are attending. So if you send the first 10 emails that go to thad@eduporium.com, tell us how you'll use the kit, and we will provide a STEAM starter kit, which we have. And so just provide your name, your title, your school, your address, your email and phone, and what you would do with it. So, so once again, it's thad@eduporium.com. And with that, I think we're going to come to a closure here. We want to thank everybody for coming today. We understand we were a little remiss in the beginning with our presentation here, and we'll work on understanding how the logistics got off placed here. But I do want to thank Andreas for staying late today and giving us a great presentation about strawberries and bringing us up to speed on that. And I'll look if anybody else has any other questions. As a reminder, we will be sending out a copy of the recording, a copy of some URL and resources and items like that, and any other comments that would come up or any questions and stuff like that that are unanswered. All right. Andreas, thank you very much. I want to thank all your educators. Please stay safe out there, and we wish you well. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you very so much. Really nice to be with you guys. Take care.
Take care.